Before we start, we would like to thank the extraordinary FIRST and Tiger communities. Without our amazing coaches, mentors, teachers, refs, judges, and FTAs, none of this would be possible. So thank you for taking time out of your day to do this. Our robot has been a very fun and challenging build that has helped all of our team members acquire new skills that have proven to be useful. Our first robot design was to be light and fast moving. However, that came with some serious issues with the weight of our motors actually bending the frame inwards on itself. We ended up changing to a heavy-duty frame that could support more weight, and it was at this stage of our build that we considered all arm options. We ended up going with a set of linear slides for stability and speed. Since we've not made any major modifications to our base, we have just changed our arm designs, our wiring, and grabber. Our old grabber was slow in speed and would actually hit our frame when it would go down, so we ended up changing to our current one for speed and size. It is one of our favorite design aspects as it can have try and take and picks up clones flawlessly.
This year, we have made significant improvements with the documentation and utilization of CAD. The primary program we used was SOLIDWORKS due to its prevalence in the engineering world. One of the most significant achievements of our CAD journey this year was the ability to fully model a robot in CAD for the first time. This provided us with a strong foundation to build on in future years, enabling future students to look back at what we have accomplished and build on our progress. One of the most innovative and unique aspects of our robot's design this season was the development of our side plate. Our side plate not only prevents damage and getting stuck, but also takes into account the curvature of the cone when it's on a pole. This allows us to park right up against the pole without having to constantly adjust our positioning, resulting in a significant reduction in our cycle time during practice. We were able to design the wheel well to fit seamlessly with our side plate, increasing the structural integrity of our robot while also avoiding any issues colliding with the wheels.
So with the metal springs on the field this year, we ran into electrostatic discharge as a problem that we had to work around and overcome. So we were able to do this by adding a grounding strap. The purpose of the grounding strap was to equalize the static charge between the frame of the bot and the electronics to prevent arcing. Another way we helped minimize electrostatic discharge event was by adding ferrite clips on all of our information cables, so in case of electric discharge event, we were able to minimize the effect on our electronics.
We decided to keep our code base simple and sound to begin with at the start of the season this year. And the thing we mostly focused on was autonomous and the signal sleeves and signal zones. And it took us a little while to figure out a solution to navigating the robot into the proper signal zone. But we eventually came across April tags, which are alike to QR codes in many ways. And that quickly became a very convenient and reliable way to read the signal sleeve and direct it into the correct place. And so once we got the simple things down, we eventually began to dive into more complex libraries and programs for the robot.
In developing our more advanced autonomous mode, we wanted to use Roadrunner, which is a path planning library built for FTC. Roadrunner uses 3 dead wheels or tracking wheels for robot localization during autonomous. This way our robot always knows where it is on the field. Using this information in the Roadrunner path planning library, we're able to create more advanced spline-like paths. As we were doing this and building up our autonomous more and more, we started using the official FTC library for the command scheduler and separating our robot out into different subsystems. This way, each part of our robot is in control of its own state, so we always know what's controlling each part of our robot. In doing this, we also started experimenting with Kotlin for programming. Kotlin is a programming language similar to Java, designed to work seamlessly, but it's more updated syntax and it's easier to read. It also handles null object exceptions much better, which we preferred over Java.
Team 750 is actively engaging in outreach activities with our broader community to promote interest and learning in robotics and the FIRST values. One of our most notable outreach activities was Club Rush, where we had the chance to interact with many of our peers at our school who visited our booth. This hands-on event was instrumental in introducing like-minded students to the world of engineering and gracious professionalism.
Our social media outreach has been wildly successful with our Instagram and Facebook views ranging in the thousands. Our most successful platform by far this year has been our TikTok. We have gotten exponentially more growth and interaction through our TikTok social media than anything else, with over 21,000 views.
I'm gonna have to stop you there. We're at time. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any
All right.
questions for us?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, we're going to Q&A now. So you mentioned several things in the design. What do you think is the most innovative thing about your design?
Definitely, we think that some of the most innovative things about design are our dead wheels in usage of our autonomous and our grabber. Our grabber has two pivots on it, or two servos, sorry. One that allows it to pivot up and over to normal. It allows it to pivot and gives us tri-intake, and one servo that allows it to close. And we're definitely very proud of that. It's gone through several modifications and is one of our favorite design pieces.
I'd like to build off that. Actually, using SolidWorks assembly feature allowed our different components and sub-assemblies of a robot to work together more seamlessly. So we were able to use the animation feature in SolidWorks to animate our assemblies. So our side plate was concentric with the cone, as along with our grabber. So everything worked together really well, and all the features kind of made the ball work together better.
Very
Okay,
good.
thank you so much for that. Oh, were you going ahead, Nate?
No, I was just saying thanks for the answer. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, there we go. One of you was about to start sharing about social media. I wondered if you could say a little more, and you mentioned it's done much better this year. So what did you do different, and then how are you measuring your success there?
So the one thing that we've been doing is posting TikToks and making updates on how our bot has been doing since the beginning of the robotics, and it's just made so many people be interested in robotics, and we've had multiple people reach out to us, including the City of Tigard and Rev Robotics, through our TikTok, because they think that our robotics team and robotics in general is just so good for the community, and we just
Yeah, so
yeah, it's got it.
social media every year gets more and more prevalent in our community, and it's a great way to reach like-minded individuals. Through using the TikTok trends, we are able to reach a wider audience, which allows for more exponential growth. So when we see a trend, often in the first community, we like to make a video about that. And essentially what this does is it finds, the algorithm on TikTok finds people that have a shared interest of STEM, and we can show them what first can give them in terms of robotics and gracious professionalism. It's a great tool that we have utilized and we plan to utilize for many years to come.
Thank you.
Great. In your portfolio, you described personal goals for each team member for this season, which I thought was really wonderful. And I'm wondering, what does the team do to assure that each person's personal goals are achieved?
Well, at the start of this season, we kind of came in as some of us being veterans to the first community and robotics, while some of us came in as completely new people. And for the new people, we kind of asked hey, what are your interests, and what do you have any previous experience, or do you have any passions that you want to explore? And from there, we've kind of just helped mentor them and show them what different components do, how to do different objects, and we want to do workshops to help improve all of our skills.
Yeah, I'd like to add off of that. So coming into this season, I had very little understanding of CAD, and I became the CAD lead of the team. And a lot of this robot is CADed. I learned this in the process of 3 to 4 months. COVID was really detrimental to our community, so we wanted this year to serve as a foundation to build upon. We 3 days before the start of this season, we ended up moving our shop completely, and we're just trying to build back what we had and provide future students a foundation to build off of.
Okay. What features do you have in teleop mode? What's your gameplay strategy in teleop?
So our primary goal in teleop is to control as many cones as possible. Some of the things that we do, at least in programming, to make this job easier is we have preset height locations for each of the scoring elements, whether that be ground, low pull, medium pull, or high pull. We do this with a PID controller. We also have things in our teleop that make the driver easier in terms of picking up scoring elements, whether that be our beacon or cones. We have preset height locations for each of the stacks, for each of the cones on the side stacks, as well as, of course, our intake positions.
Okay, thank you.
Can you say a little bit about how you've approached fundraising and anything you're especially proud of as far as that this year?
I guess social media kind of, again, served as a great foundation for that. I mean, we've reached tens of thousands of people through our social media, and we've gotten in contact with the City of Tigard. Rev Robotics reached out to us, as well as many other organizations such as the Tigard Library. Also, due to this inclement weather, we had many other outreach things planned. Right now, we're in the process of building our community so we can build solid pipelines between us. Fundraising, we plan on reaching out to different businesses, and we've been working on some emails.
Great. That was very interesting, your description of the electrostatic discharge problem you had and adding a grounding shaft and so forth. Did that cause you maybe to find or seek any additional mentors or additional technical resources, or even develop any test methods regarding electrostatic discharge?
So when we started having these problems, I did reach out to try to find a person who is an expert when it came to this sort of area, and that happened to be my father, who has to deal with managing electrostatic discharge all the time for his job. And him and me sat down, and he showed me a whole bunch of graphs and explained in great detail of what was happening and what we could do to help minimize it. In the future, I definitely want to try to create a program to help show it happening.
I will mention that we did talk to 2 of the FTAs, and they give us some great resources, and they told us some great strategies to prevent or minimize ESD. So that was really useful within our first community.
Thanks.
So tell me a little bit about the grabber design journey there. You got the V1 there on the table, and you got the perfected version. So tell me how that went.
So actually, this was our first grabber iteration. It's really bulky, but the idea is, 2 is better than 1, right? So we did 2 servos. However, they have a lot more travel, and unfortunately, one of these servos were only partially operational. So essentially, this grabber would have to travel this entire length of the extrusion, which we were just sitting there 2 or 3 seconds trying to pick up the cone, which was detrimental to our cycle time. Additionally, during this time, we had another set of slides, which were NG and 12 slides, I believe. So we had to develop a custom spool for these slides. And the issue with that is that they had no tensioning string. So if it fell on the frame, the spool would just keep unraveling, and then we'd have a mess of string, and it would be a push spot for the rest. So that led me to move on to other more claw, circular designs that utilize gears. This was a model that wasn't actually in a robot. However, we did donate it and gave the model to one of our sister teams. This grabber was a lot quicker to close because it would only have to rotate 180 degrees. So that's like half a second. It allowed us to reach further, so we could pick it up and bring it closer to us. It was a lot more robust, quick, and simple, so less things could go wrong, which ultimately led us to our current grabber, which takes the contours of the cone. So it's basically a mold of the cone. So we have every little bit of this is surface area connecting to the cone. It's also used more in servo, and the gears are built into the model, so it's more robust and it's easy to swap out if something were to break. Versatility.
Yeah, thank you. It's good.
You mentioned some really good success as far as recruiting. You have the Club Rush that I think 2,000 individuals came. Can you share a little more about your recruiting strategy and like how successful has it been, and as far as growing this year or in the future years?
Yeah, so luckily in our Tiger community, we have opportunities to interact with our school. Club Rush, as you mentioned, was one of our biggest opportunities. As it is hosted within school hours, our student population is around 2,000. So a good, really large chunk of those people do come, and we wanted to have a hands-on experience for them. So we had approximately 50 plus students have drive practice, and Nat, one of our main builders, actually built a bot from scratch for them to drive, and then they actually could see the hardware, have a hands-on experience, and it's just really cool looking like when that wow look in their face, you know. And we made the controls as intuitive as possible. So you could just pick up the control and kind of just like a video game, you could learn it really quickly.
I was impressed with your description of fully modeling your robot in CAD, and among the benefits you described was it makes it teachable to future team members, to younger students, etc. I'm wondering, have you reached out or enabled any supply of the software so that your school or the future students and your own team, for that matter, can be well equipped to use the CAD software and have access to it?
So our school is fortunate enough to have a copy of SolidWorks provided to us, which is really great for students to come in, and we have 40 plus computers in here that they can just pick up. And I've gone through a few hours and a couple of sessions of trying to teach students in our group. We have an amazing CAD teacher, Mr. Woodward, that I personally talk to, and we talk about like robotics concepts to teach our students. And then we do talk about the Fusion 360 student license, which is different than SolidWorks, but having a foundation, it's a great foundation platform to have in CAD.
Yep, that's great. And any contact with SolidWorks or Fusion or their other product? Any contact with the actual company?
Right now, I don't think we have any. Right?
We do have a couple emails that
we have a couple emails that we're working on, but I know we definitely want to start reaching out to these types of companies and seeing if we can collaborate with them and help spread first.
Great, thank you.
Sorry. Yeah.
I do want to add a little excerpt to that. So we did reach out to ToberTech 8160, and I believe they did tour Autodesk. And it was really great to talk to them about how they chose to approach outreach opportunities. And we took great inspiration from them. And we plan on adopting some of their framework to walk into outreach opportunities. So that was a great, it's really good connecting with our fellow FTC teams to see how they approach outreach.
What do you look for in an alliance partner?
So with our alliance partners, we typically try to choose teams who we cooperate well with, and when our strategies line up. A very big part of us choosing an alliance partner, or us trying to be a good alliance partner, is trying to cooperate well with the other teams, because no one wants to be on an alliance with someone who is rude. You know, I mean, ideally, it is the best to just cooperate and compare strategies early on so that we can see if we have compatible strategies or not.
Okay, thanks.
I don't have any more questions, so.
What do you think about, oh, sorry, Art, yeah.
About fun? What do you guys do for fun?
Fun?
All of this is fun. We all love it.
We're all like-minded.
Some more. So what's that look like?
I like to mention that we're all like-minded, passionate individuals when it comes to the world of CAD and 3D printing and even coding, and it's really great being in a group. like this. But we also, due to the inclement weather, we were kind of stuck. But we also recently had a little snowball fight with our FTC team, which was a really good team bonding experience. Just we all came together and we went from some of us knowing each other and some of us being new to having a really tight community, and we plan on building on that in the future.
We all like video games.
Yes.
All right, well, it's time. So thanks very much and appreciate all your hard work here. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good work. Keep having fun.
Thank you very much.
I never want to do that again. Everyone fell apart really quickly.
Yeah, I don't think we got it.